and we are going to go out on a date. I literally have dinner reservations at the nicest restaurant, I think, in all of Arizona. But it's a secret. I'm not telling Janelle where we're going, we're just going. But she's talking about not reconciling, and I don't know why we can't. Which means I'm clueless to what the real problem is. So it's complicated.
Hey friends, it's Kody from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Monday, October 9th, 2023, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Well, nothing spells date night like Kody Brown in slacks and taking Janelle to an extremely expensive restaurant in Sedona, Arizona, and trying to woo her with expensive gifts and expensive dinners, a strategy that works for his wife, Robin, but never something that's been on the forefront of Janelle's mind. She is definitely not one of materialism. Now, he and Janelle are going on a date for her birthday, and he thinks it's to rekindle their relationship, and Janelle thinks it's just a day to get together and enjoy her day. He walks into the situation knowing that she does not want to reconcile. He wants to reconcile and admits that he's clueless because he doesn't understand why she doesn't want to reconcile. I don't know, is it the fact that she was living in an RV or has an apartment, or you won't pay off Coyote Pass, or you've mistreated her children, or you've been using her for her money and her resources. But by the end of it, Janelle rebuffs his attempts to reconcile, and he accuses her of using him and treating him like an object. Let's dive into today's topic. Before we do, can you please do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up? Also, please subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed by clicking on the subscribe button down below. Click on the bell so you can get notified of any time I go live or new content loads. And if you have something that you'd like to say, make sure to say it, and please share this video with your friends. While Kody's driving to pick up Janelle, he's talking about all the things: his relationships, reconciliation, where their relationship is going, and for some reason he brings up Robin and sleeping with his lover. It's very strange.
Getting a divorce while you're still sleeping with your wife and lover in a relationship. And so in this case, with Janelle, I see potential for us to manage it and to keep that relationship. But I do struggle wondering how, we do have to unwind the past and then figure out what our relationship is now and how to do that.
It is such a strange concept to me that you would be driving in your car with a GoPro filming you, speaking to a camera on the way to a date with your estranged, quote, wife, and you would be somehow dropping the fact that you have a current lover that you're sleeping with, but you're also going through a divorce. Those two situations don't have anything to do with this date with Janelle. He's just adding this weird detail to the story, almost as a way to say to the other wives, I'm still getting it, regardless if you are here or not. But then he goes into talking about his relationship with Janelle, and Janelle not understanding how they're going to reconcile. Kody doesn't respect boundaries because he knows full well walking into this that Janelle doesn't want to reconcile at all. And he doesn't care about that. All he's thinking about is, I get to have amazing intimacy with my wife, who's my lover, and now I got to figure out how to make this thing work with Janelle. Like, what?
So if you wanted to go out for your birthday and wanted to go to the nicest restaurant in all of Arizona,
It would be like Mariposa or
It would
something.
be Mariposa, wouldn't it?
Did you really?
Yeah.
Get a reservation at Mariposa?
Yeah, I did. It's the hardest restaurant in all of Arizona to get into.
Oh, thanks.
She can't get a reservation there.
So Kody's super proud of himself because he finagled a reservation at this fine dining restaurant called Mariposa in Sedona, which you can get reservations for. You just have to go weeks ahead of time. It's a fine dining establishment that has a dress code, and they have a lot of really good food. It's a Latin cuisine, and it is for people that have a lot of money. And apparently Kody is very impressed with the fact that he got this reservation. And this is something that he would use on someone like Robin as like, look what I did for you. Look at this amazing thing. You've always wanted to go to this amazing restaurant. And I'm the one that got you this nearly impossible reservation to get. I obtained it because I am Kody Brown. And he thinks that this is going to work. And he believes that this is going to impress her. And while she's grateful, things quickly take a turn.
I kind of feel like a guy on a first date that's like jonesing, you know, like, hey, are we gonna kiss after this date? Like you want to get a first date question book? That's fun.
No, Kody, I feel like we're if there is anything here, I don't know. Like it's starting over, right? It's redefining.
Sure. And dress nice, specifically because I was looking for an edge into reconciliation, and there's a block. Now there's another block.
Kody's behavior is so juvenile. He's about to go on to a date with a wife that told him 4 months ago that she wanted to be separated. And he believes that he can woo her back by taking her to an expensive restaurant. And he thinks that this is going to land him the big reconciliation that he's looking for. And she's not that impressed. And she didn't make this date with the expectation they were going to get back together. And Kody starts to get deflated by the fact that she's not as impressed by what he thought was an amazing and completely astronomically impossible feat to accomplish by getting this reservation. And she's just not as moved by it. Like, a restaurant reservation isn't going to make your marriage somehow be repaired. It doesn't change everything that's happened. And he's talking about how all of this deflates him and makes him feel less and less positive. And the way that he's just so giddy about maybe kissing her, it's just so incredibly objectifying. You know, he says that at the end of this that she treats him like an object, but he treats her like an object in that moment.
I mean, I just don't think there's much path forward for Kody and I. We just are different people now. He thinks differently. He's very, very wrapped up with the children at Robin's house. And he think a lot alike. They want to live the same kind of life. And I'm really looking for a relationship where I'm equally considered.
Kody expects to woo her back in the same way that he has previously, with making promises and like throwing on the romance. But the difference between before and now is that she doesn't have any children that she's relying on him to help raise at this point. Savannah is going to be a senior, or she is a senior in high school by this point. And she doesn't need him financially anymore. She doesn't need him to help raise her kids. She doesn't need the sister wives to help raise her kids. She is also grown. She has evolved. She knows what she wants, what she doesn't want. They've gone through therapy. She's realized that her life is taking a different trajectory, and he is on one where he still wants to have control and to have final say and to be the patriarch, and he gets to do that with Robin, but he's not going to be able to do that with her. And you just can't untangle that. And like she said, throughout this entire time, he has put all of his energy into Robin and her kids, the house that he has with Robin, the life that he has with Robin, the beliefs that he has with Robin, without ever paying any respect to the life that he had with Janelle. Her life was never a consideration to him. interests were not his priority. Her housing was not his priority. There's no path forward. And Kody thought doing all of this would give her a path forward. And they don't film the date because you can't film at Mariposa. She says that the cameras are intrusive, but Mariposa has something very clearly on their website that you cannot film there. So they were not allowed to film there. They went out for dinner. They had a good walk and good scenery. And then she explains how at one point she slipped her hand into his. And this is what she said.
At one point, I slipped my hand into his out of habit. And I thought, this feels really weird. And I took my hand back out of his hand. It just didn't feel right anymore.
So we had a bad fight. We've had worse. So we're separated. We've had other separations.
You know, there just isn't anything there anymore. There just isn't. Our relationship has been unraveling for years.
I've been in love with her before, so I can be in love with her again.
Their relationship was so fractured. You know, it's when you look at the show and you see that Christine left, the tension between Christine and Kody was very quiet compared to the tension that was going on very loudly between Janelle and Kody. When Christine decided to leave, it almost seemed shocking in that they didn't seem to be having any problems outside of the COVID situation and him not going to Isabel's surgery. Obviously they were having problems, but they weren't having fights. Janelle and Kody were having so many on-camera fights that I would have thought she would have left before Christine. And so for her to go on this date, you'd have to go back and look at the last 4 years and ask yourself, can I erase all of these conversations, all of these fights, all of the verbal abuse, all of the name calling, all of the mistreatment of our children, the gaslighting, the manipulation, the bullying of our kids on the show, the way that financially she's been completely destroyed because Kody has put her in a position where she has nothing outside of Kody. Kody systematically took everything away from her and placed her in a complete state of dependence upon him, knowing full well that it would be hard for her to leave. And that's what men in polygamy do all the time. She was someone that had left him for several years, went to college, finished her degree, and bought her own house. And once she got complete stability on her own, Kody swooped in again after years and got her back and got her to come back. But that coming back was with the promise that they would be one family in one home and they'd all have different kitchens and all the kids could be raised together. How do you ignore all of the despicable behavior that Kody has demonstrated to her, to the world, and to her children, and not realize that there's no way to make this work? Kody is looking at this like, well, I've been able to reconcile with her before and we've had worse fights. If they've had worse fights than what we saw on the show, that just proves to me that he is more violent and more awful off camera, like his daughter Gwendolyn has said. She said that he is way worse off camera. When they were on the show a couple years ago acting shocked and surprised that he was yelling at Christine about the knife in the kidneys, and they had never seen that before. And then only a few weeks later, we see it again with him yelling at Janelle. And then a couple weeks later, we see it again with him yelling at Janelle. How many times was he going to do this before they snapped? Not to mention, he had abandoned these women for years before all of this came to head. They were basically DOA. Their relationship was so separate. When they were in Vegas, they were living completely separate lives. Kody just believed he could treat these women any way he wanted and never believed that they would have the strength or the ability to leave him. And now that they've left him, he doesn't know what to do with himself other than to question why he can't understand why they won't reconcile. But all the while he's driving there, he's making comments like, I'm going through a divorce and I'm sleeping with my lover. And he's calling Robin his lover, and that they're each other's safety and they're each other's safe space, and their love is so amazing. Why would you want to be in a relationship with someone who's in a love story with someone else? And I don't think Robin and Kody's relationship is going to work long term, because she didn't want monogamy and Kody now has her in monogamy. Kody thought that he could get her to want monogamy, and I just don't see it working. So Kody's going to end up losing it all. But thank goodness that Janelle rebuffed his attempts to reconcile. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.